United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting, West Burlington City Council, order. Roll call, please.
Christie,
Here.
Browner,
Here.
Heitmeyer,
Here.
Lees,
Here.
Waterman.
Here.
Need to perfect and approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Browner,
Aye.
Heitmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Motion carried. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented.
Support.
Motion with support to approve consent agenda items 1 through 11, which are the minutes from regular city council meeting on January 22nd. Approve city administrator Gifford and finance officer Sattler's attendance at the IGHCP meeting. Approve city administrator Giffords, and I won't be going, attendance at the Southeast Iowa Days. Approve city administrator Giffords' attendance at the Iowa Municipal Managers Institute. Approve payment to Ferguson Waterworks. Approve payment to ACO. Approve payment to Schluters. Approve payment to Des Moines County GIS Commission. Approve payment to Mississippi Valley Pump. Approve clerk's monthly financial report for December 2019. And approve the claims list as presented in the amount of $131,017.83. Any discussion?
Could I pull a couple of those just for a question?
Yeah, for discussion.
Just for a question, number 3, I just wondered what Southeast Iowa Days is.
It's just a lobbying trip with one of the chambers runs it every year. Either Mount Pleasant, Keokuk, Fort Madison, Burlington area runs that, and we go to Des Moines and visit with our legislators, and we see the juniors of all the high schools around do Empower You group, which is some of the leaders in the high schools they work on a project for months at a time, and then they actually present that to the legislators, and then there's like a little reception with the legislators where we rub elbows with them again and bring up whatever concerns we have. So that's what Southeast Iowa Days.
Okay, thanks. And also number 6, is that buying new diving boards, or what was that exactly for the diving boards?
Yeah, that was replacing the stands that were rusted out.
Oh, the stands are rusted
Yeah,
out?
we had to put new stands and stuff in and have them remounted for the diving board.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
Righty. Anything else? Roll call.
Heitmeyer,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Browner,
Aye.
Motion carried. Go to staff reports. Dan?
I don't have anything tonight.
Anybody have anything for Dan? Okay, Mike?
Nope, I don't have anything tonight either.
I can't hear you. You need to speak.
I don't have anything tonight.
thank you.
I know, I can't hear him either. And neither Leslie, you gotta get another
Well,
microphone.
you're
in
hard to
there.
hear too.
I don't think so. I'm pretty boisterous. I've been told to tone it down.
Okay, everybody speak up. That's what the mics are for.
Well, that's what they're for, then I don't need to speak up.
They won't pick it up that far away. All right, anyway, Jesse.
The only thing I got is we got our annual tobacco sting operation that'll be coming up here this month for all the retailers in Des Moines County. We got to make it publicize this, so
Okay. Anybody have anything for Jess?
And the legal age for smoking is now,
smoking is still 18. To purchase, you have to be 21.
That makes a
so
lot
how are
of
they gonna do
sense.
that?
You have somebody that's 21 that buys the tobacco. If you're still 18, you can still smoke it, chew it, use it. It's just you cannot purchase tobacco until you're age of 21.
So
Everything's not caught up to the 21 law yet. Just that's
I
what it.
could make money sitting outside the gas station, buy cigarettes for all these youngins and make a little
could.
cash.
Yeah, you could.
There's my retirement job.
Happy retirement.
And I was getting gas this afternoon, and I did notice a big sign, not anything about the age, but I can't believe a can of snuff is $5.15.
Plus, yeah. Some of them are up to $6, $7.
It used to be like 50 cents.
Yeah. So, state law has not been caught up with federal law, and the federal law, when they decided to change that back in December, come up with purchase age of 21, but it did not state anything about use of tobacco.
Government, it's fine.
So in other words, you can still go take a bullet for somebody and not
Yes.
be able to drink or smoke.
Yes.
Wonderful country. Anybody have anything for Jess? Well, besides that. Anybody have anything for Mike? Boy, skip further on. Sean?
Hopefully the issue with the parking at the pet shop has been dealt with. I spoke with the manager and we had quite a conversation and tried to come up with a solution that they're not parking out in that front area anywhere. It was the employees that were parking out there, so we worked out a solution. I can't do much on the customers until the spring comes. They can do something with the lines in the lot. I did talk with the owner as well. He raised some concerns. I did issue the permit, but at the same time, I'm not a surveyor, go out and mark the pins. That falls back on the property owner themselves and on the contractor, so kind of a third split. We came to an understanding agreement on that. Silver cord out of that, and something Dan pointed out, is adding a line to our permits that when they sign their permits, they're acknowledging that they're responsible to ensure that the property lines are marked and surveyed, et cetera. Something that I've always verbally conveyed to fence permits, because those you can put right on the fence on their property line. So kind of a silver lining out of that whole situation ordeal. Sent out some notices regarding vehicles parked in yards and some junk vehicles that are being kept in driveways, partially assembled type things that aren't going anywhere that need to be removed. On the fire side, I gave you each printed off the report for 2019. Just some quick highlights. We had 590 calls for the year. 67 was the highest amount of calls in 1 month's time. That was in March of last year. Our busiest day being Mondays and Tuesdays. Weekends it kind of tapers off. Maybe that's a blessing for us. Then it's a breakdown on the incident type, or the type of call itself. When you look down at EMS, I know we're a non-transport agency, we just assist. We do get disregarded sometimes if the ambulance beats us there on a lift assist, so we're not needed. We do the same thing with them. It works out, it's a good arrangement. A lot of those calls, initially when the guys started using this report, we're breaking them down, so it's kind of spread out. But there's actually, back a little further, it tells you exactly how many work calls were EMS, how many calls were fire actual self. A breakdown on our average response time. Lights and siren is how we respond to the majority of calls. We have an average response time, that's from the time we're dispatched to the time we're unseen, of 5 minutes and 84 seconds. No lights, no sirens just means, hey, come on over here. So that's going to be a longer one when you look at that. The average number of personnel responding per incident type for the year, it breaks it down, and then when you go through and total up that number and divide it by the amount of them, our average number is 7.26. I don't know who's 0.26 unless they're counting the shorter guys on the department per call. Our average turnout time on a compliancy level, we're compliant 98.72% of the time on our responses. We fall under 14.20 of the NFPA on a response. So that's a 9-minute response time from the time it's paged to the time we respond. You'll see a couple non-compliance. One is on apparatus 522, which is engine 3. That's what we use to respond on automatic aid, mutual aid. And the reason for that non-compliance on those, Burlington may have a fire and we don't get paged by dispatch like we're supposed to automatically, and they'll get into the fire and then they'll say, is West Burlington coming? And then they'll page us. So it goes back to the time of the call to the time we're respond, so that extends that time. And there's one for 571, which is the rescue. That would have had to been earlier in the year because it was out of service for the better half of the last 2/3 of the year. So there were 3. The one page on incident statistics, so it breaks it down. We had 331 medical calls that we responded to, 259 fire-related type calls. You'll see a large Xed out area, which is total transports. As I said, we're non-transport. This is an area where we're having a class on how to write reports because we do not do patient transport. That's against our rules. And the guys were marking down, we transport them, when in reality, Burlington does our transport for us. We had a total loss in this community of an estimated $95,270 on fire loss damage. That includes car fires. We did have a house fire that suffered significant loss. We gave mutual aid or auto aid 68 total times. The 208 times we received it is also including some medical calls. Again, that's a matter of getting the guys to mark the right box on their medical reports when they do that. Luckily, we had 55 calls that were overlapping, meaning the call came in at the same time we were out on another one. Our average response times from dispatch to arrival was 5 minutes and 50 seconds, and our turnout time from the time we're dispatched that we go en route averages out to 3 minutes and 34 seconds for all calls. We spend 22 minutes on scene on average. There's a page that shows per vehicle breakdown. Station is just somebody getting to the station to take over the logs. 581, which we affectionately call Ticky, that's our support vehicle. That one's usually called to the scene well into it, so it's not going to have as high of a turnout time. There's a breakdown on incidents by personnel that they attended, their percentages. 2,342 individual responses to the 2 calls is what we had for the year. I did put together our aid calls, which is a sideways page, mutual or automatic aid that was given by us in the type of situations. If there's an X'd out one in there, it's because somebody inadvertently in their medical report or on an accident report marked it that we gave aid to ourselves.
That's good.
Yeah, that's always good. Received, we had 3 calls. There's 2 that are marked out, and that falls back on that. We gave it to ourselves. It's the same call 3 times if you can read through those numbers. But we had 3 fires that we had assistants come in, and then the last page is total training hours by the individuals, and we had a total of 1,914 hours of training time recorded. There's a few on there that you'll notice had less than 24 hours. Those are our newer members. I can point out like Chris Easton, who just got on. He's going through his training right now. There's a couple that aren't there anymore, Essence Anthony, Brandon Paduano. But the guys are getting in their 24 minimum hours and then some. So if there's any other type of numbers that you'd like me to try and pull up, it takes a little bit with this software, but we are able to generate a lot better reports than you just sitting here saying we had 590 calls last year. I don't know where they break down. This actually breaks it down into what we went on.
Good report. And it's easy to follow. I know we charge for false alarms.
We do. Stacia records those. And
We do fire now too?
we've
I thought only
always
did
done
the,
fire,
police.
and we've gone back to looking at how we're addressing that. If it's, for example, we've gone on, without saying the business's name or anything, we've gone to one commercial business several times in the last 3 months, and it's a problem that's recurring. Usually likes to happen on Sunday morning while everyone's in church. Looking at the causation of why that's happening, and it's a problem in their system. So we're marking those, and I'd have to look to see what the code says on when we start charging them. I think it's different than what the police is, but I think it's after 3 times we do charge them, and Stacia does keep account of that.
I knew we were doing with PD. I didn't know we were doing with the fire department also, so. Yep. Good to know. I think one thing you said, Sean, you said 5 minutes, 84 seconds.
Yeah.
I think you meant 5.84.
Oh, yes.
5 minutes.
I'm sorry, yes.
That would have been 6 minutes and 24 seconds. That's probably just 5.84.
Yeah, it's breaking a second, or breaking a minute down into hundredths for some
Hundreds,
reason. I always thought there was 60 seconds on that.
Thanks for this report, Sean.
Thank you very much. If you have a chance, if the system has calls by apparatus, how many times each apparatus actually went out?
Yeah,
That'd be a
I'll
good
do
one to
that.
see.
I'll get that to break down, and I'll get you guys that.
Okay. And otherwise, this is excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
I like this software a lot. I actually was on the phone to the state fire marshal yesterday discussing reporting software. I know that in 2015, we responded to 510 calls, and that ranked us 46th in the state, right in that 45, 48 range on total calls per state. That's comparing us to 797 fire departments in the state of Iowa at that time, and we were in the top 50th of the state, and that includes professional departments. Since we switched reporting software, they can't pull up that number anymore, but this is what Burlington's using, a lot of other departments are using for reporting software, so I don't regret switching to this software. It's a lot more user-friendly and provides better reports. So I will definitely get you, based on per apparatus, to calls.
Thank you.
Very nice
And if there's
report.
anything else you can think of, I can probably find the report that it'll generate.
One last question, I forgot. How many men do you need to run a fire truck? How many people do you need?
Driver. That's the smart answer. The honest answer is, they consider the average 4. Consider 4 on a fire truck for a fire scene. If you go to larger departments, if you go to look at career departments, a lot of them are staffing with 3 to 4 on an engine responding, but they also have other engines coming. What you need on a fire scene, and this is after talking to ISO, is you need 3 engines, an aerial, and a service company or a rescue. We meet 2 engines, the aerial and the rescue, and we get our 3rd from Burlington, and they recognize that through our automatic aid agreement. As well as we also get, you've seen Danville come over here many a times. Minneapolis will come down. I've had New London come over and man the station when we're on calls, like that one we had on Pennington, just to ensure that we do have somebody here to guard this town, and they have somebody in their town. We always make arrangements. The ideal number on a scene on a call is 18 plus 1 command.
At Pennington, that,
Yeah.
the orange fence was down, has that been fixed or is it still down? Where kids can't get into it?
I drove by it today. It looked like it's not up. It looked
Yeah,
like
it's on that,
the yellow
east
tape
side.
is up.
yeah, the orange fence on that east side's collapsed down.
But I also know the insurance investigator was there for the insurance company, so I don't know if he had taken it down.
It's
I
been,
didn't see his
it's been
vehicle.
that way for at least the last week.
It's been that way, so,
I just didn't want, any kids
right.
come walking up and fall down in that basement and everything.
I'll swing by there tomorrow and I'll make sure it's up.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else for Sean? Golly, you got anything going on? Leslie?
No.
Kathy?
Yeah, I had 2 things. I went to the Southeast Iowa Building and Construction Trade Council's event, and there were 9 trades there, and there were 150 students that attended it over the 2 days. They were high school students from our area. And some of the trades were electricians, pipe fitters, and so forth. And I sat in on several of the presentations, and one common thread was they were telling these high school students to go into the trades, learn your math, you're going to need your math. I thought that was interesting. And I think Andy said one of our West Burlington students, didn't one of those go through one of these trade?
Yeah, we had a ceremony last year. I think we had 3 kids in last year's ceremony that went through the trade schools.
So this is a good opportunity for these kids. And then also, I had the opportunity to go on a ride-along with Officer Covert, and it's really compelling to see what the officers face on a day-to-day basis. It really makes you respect them even more than you already do. And I just want to thank Chief Logan and Officer Covert for this opportunity. And another takeaway I had from that was I saw some software that Brad had written for the police department, and other police departments use it, and it's really useful for them. So I wanted to thank Brad for that too. It was really a good experience. So that's all I have.
All right. Andy, you got anything?
Just one quick mention. Obviously, a lot of us went to the chamber event last week. I just want to say I heard a lot of good things said about West Burlington that night from a lot of people there, a lot of local businesses. So thank you for the job you're all doing.
Bush, anything? Grace?
No, I spent Friday night with my cute little 2-month-old granddaughter, but that's okay. Let's choose my date.
Good job. Al?
I'm good.
All righty. Well, the other thing we got here is a demonstration of ClearGov transparency and public participation software. This is a dial-in thing. I'm going to give you a presentation.
Phone number, Dan, or? 558 8656. 8656.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
201 286 2881 pound.
Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. You are in the meeting now. There is one other participant in the meeting.
Hi, Gabby. We'll get you hooked up here in a second.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I think we might have you. I don't know.
Okay, perfect. All right, everyone can hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great, perfect. And you can also see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, great, perfect. All right, thank you everyone for the time this evening. Really appreciate that. Always excited, to show council members how we help build public trust and drive community support through a better understanding of your city's finances. So thanks again, Leslie and Dan, for giving me this time. So ClearGov. So let me first start out by telling you a little bit about ClearGov, and then I'll leave some time at the end here before I go through the demo to also address any questions. So ClearGov, at our core, we are a transparency and budgeting cloud-based software company, specifically geared for local governments. So we're on a mission to build a community of transparent, data-driven, modern government. And our solutions are carefully designed to help local governments operate more efficiently and communicate more effectively, fueling better strategic decision-making and increased levels of community support. We're currently working with hundreds and hundreds of local governments across the country in 30 states. And what we're really doing here is, in short, is providing, the just right software, making it easy for motivated local government leaders like yourselves to take your transparency process from good to great. So with that, what we've done, what separates us from everyone else is that we've created and we've gone out and aggregated all the publicly available information and created this proof of concept page here for the city of West Burlington. And like I said, we've collected all that information, and we really look here to start to tell your story, paint a picture of what your city looks like, so that we can provide context behind, those key financial and budgetary decisions that your city is making. So here, just a quick snapshot and overview of what the demographics of the city looks like. We're showing population here, trends over time. And then here, kind of what stands out to me, is the daytime population here in West Burlington. You have an increased amount of activity, foot traffic throughout the day. So, these are good pieces of information to have to provide context and clarity into those key financial budgetary decisions that you're making. And just showing the household breakdown, age population breakdown here. Again, really just starting to tell that story and providing some clarity as to, kind of what the city looks like. Now, with this information, with the demographic snapshot of what the city of West Burlington looks like, the residents can now look at the financial overview. So we provide a really nice graphical top-line breakdown here of what those finances look like. And we really present this information in a way that is much easier to understand, than seeing the spreadsheets, the PDF documents with little line level detail that, unless you're a certified financial professional, that information can be really hard to grasp. So we're presenting this in a way that's really easy to understand. Anyone can kind of come in and see, what revenues versus expenditures, showing trends over time here. And when you come on board as a client, we would be able to update this information with more recent financial information as well. But really kind of presenting this in an easy format, easy to understand infographics for all the citizens to understand. So once a citizen comes into the website and clicks into, to expenditures here, what they're really looking here is a graphical breakdown of how their tax dollars are being spent. And these charts and graphs that you see throughout our site are interactive. So they have the ability to simply just click into one piece of the pie here, and they would be able to, for example, drill down specifically into public safety or, whether they wanted to go into public works, whatever section of the budget that they're interested in. So we want to see how those tax dollars break out. So as I scroll down here further, like, for example, if a citizen wanted to see, the section of the budget, the public works, for example, they want to see, okay, well, they're seeing here that $211 of their tax dollars are going annually to public works. And what they can see is here historical trends over time of how that money is how much money is being spent and how much of their tax dollars is going to that particular department. Here, this is just simply peer analysis. When you come on board as a client, you can turn this feature on or off as you choose. I showed Dan and Leslie before the ability to kind of provide your own peers should you want to use that feature. So I'm going to switch over here to a Demoville account that we have. This is real information, but we're taking it to kind of show some of the added benefits and premium content that you can have as a client. So the first thing I'll mention here is here, when you're on board as a client, you have the ability to provide further context and clarity into any of the graphics that are being shown. For example, here the town manager felt the need to kind of, explain why the expenditures are a little bit higher than the revenues. So we provide these commentary sections here. For example, here we need to up our police presence, so we needed to hire some additional police officers. Again, just putting it right in front here and providing that context and clarity right to their citizens. Here's another graphical breakdown. Now, when you come on board as a client, we would be able to update this information, and we provide budgets to actuals. So a resident, they don't have necessarily, maybe the average resident doesn't usually have the financial understanding how to read spreadsheets and Excel spreadsheets. So here they can just graphically see, okay, I see, year to date, this is how much of the budget has been spent, and it just fills up as a thermometer, and they're able to see, how forecasted information looks. So again, presenting it in a way that's really, really easy for them to understand. Now, when they click breakdown here, they have the ability to see this information in these graphical views, but they also have the ability to kind of see how those tax dollars are being spent, and being able to see it per, how their exact property tax bill is being sent to them, so they can personalize this page. Again, historical trends being shown here, budgets to actuals, and again, the police department here providing some commentary and further clarity into why the budget might necessarily be a little bit higher than it was in the previous year. Okay. Now, with financial transparency as well, we also provide the ability to showcase and communicate to your citizens capital projects that are going on around your city. So we make it really, really easy to view. Any citizen can kind of come in and see very quickly, okay, these are the existing and open capital projects. And we provide this in a really easy to read format. They can quickly see here the description. City manager can provide some pictures as well. But what's really neat about this feature is that citizens have the ability to subscribe to any of the projects. So anytime an edit is made to this page, and these pages are very easy to create, they will get an email notification letting them know, hey, there's been an update to this existing project. And again, we're presenting the project budget dollars of the existing project and the expenditures to date, so that the average citizen can quickly and easily follow how the project is going. We provide some project management phases here, and then at the bottom here we have the project timeline as well. So we have a nice graphical view of the projected timeline, and then any current updates. And as the city is making updates to the site, to this page, citizens will get those email notifications so that they can follow along and see what the status of the project is. So really, this is an ability to really shine a spotlight on community development and projects going on throughout the city. Moving on here, so in addition to communicating, providing communication to your citizens about projects, not only with financial transparency, but also with projects, the departments also have the ability, so your respective departments also have the ability to kind of communicate all the good work that they're doing for their citizens as well. So every department that would like to do this can have the ability to communicate what their key performance metrics are, what are their goals and objectives for the year. They want to show all the great work that they're doing for the community. For example, here, the police department wants to communicate how many 911 calls are they receiving and how quickly they are responding. So really kind of driving some more transparency into the good work that they're doing for the community. And each department has this ability to provide this type of communication and really drive further civic engagement with the citizens and let them know all the good work that they're doing. If they have some communications about an annual fundraiser, they can also communicate the budget as well. So a lot of ways for each department as well to drive further community support and public support as well. Any questions so far?
If down the road we wanted to do a survey.
All right.
If down the road we want to do a survey, is that something we can do in your software?
Do a survey?
Yes.
I can get back to you on that. I'm not sure about that one. I've actually never had someone ask me that, so I'll follow up with you on that.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we're good, Gabby.
Okay, good. All right. So the final piece that I will show here is so we have your budgetary information. So with one click, what we can also do is create the framework for your annual budget book. Okay. And before I show you that, actually, I just want to show you one quick little integration piece, some examples of other clients. So you have an existing website already for West Burlington. So what our clients do is normally put a banner on their existing websites to drive traffic, to drive the financial transparency integration piece to their website. So I just showed you Proctor, Washington. Here is an example of how Dayton, Texas has done it. They have a nice banner here created. And then also here, Pinehurst, North Carolina, again, showcasing their financial transparency center on their website. Now, going back to the budget book. So here we have your budgetary, your financial information. So now we can also create that digital form of the budget book to create to make this more accessible to your residents. And then also this book can also be printed. But this is just another way to communicate to your residents, what being transparent about your mission, the city's mission, comprehensive goals for the city, and objectives for the city throughout the year. So here, very simply, we present this in a really easy layout, easy to follow, easy to read, easy to find various sections of the budget book. No more scrolling through pages and pages or trying to make sense of hard to read documents. So the mayor here can post his executive summary, a transmittal letter, if you will. The demographics, we went through that. This would be automatically populated, but someone could see the citizens can go in here and get some context from the demographics. And here with the funds, so here we have the ability to communicate to citizens all the different funds that are included in the West Burlington budget. So providing a description, and then all of these charts and graphs here would be automatically populated in an easy-to-read format, and there would be the ability to provide text behind each one of these charts and graphs. But as you can see, it's something that is very easy to follow and easy to digest, even as complex as some of these documents might be. So again, just trying to make this as easy as possible for residents. And then we have a department narrative section as well, similar to the department dashboards. Each department head can have the flexibility and ability to kind of create their own page and communicate to the residents, these are what our goals and objectives are for this year. And again, presenting this information in graphical ways that are really, really easy to understand, and not just text and numbers in an Excel spreadsheet that can be really, really hard to follow. Here, for example, every section would have goals and objectives for the year, and as a way to kind of really keep the department heads accountable for their respective department's objectives that year. One more quick thing here, capital improvements. If there are some capital improvements that are being collected by the city, here's the ability to kind of showcase all those existing capital requests. And these can be forecasted to be shown out across 5 years. That's kind of our default. You can forecast further out. But citizens can come in here and see, okay, the fire department, for example, they're requesting, new fire trucks. And so they can easily see that's potentially, where the capital request forecasted dollars, where the budget may be headed towards. And they can provide a nice, easy graphical way here to present the data and information to the citizens. And debt here, the debt section works just like the funds page. Again, always providing some nice graphical snapshots, just making it really easy to comprehend, so that citizens can come in here, see historical trends, and make sense of all the data. And like I said, finally, you can also print this book. So not only would there be a digital version linked to your website, but you also have the ability to print specific sections of the budget book, or you could print the entire budget book as well. And here, this is customizable. You can include a nice picture of West Burlington here. Really make this your own. And the final thing I'll add is this has been optimized to be GFOA, but budget worthy essentially. So we worked with the GFOA for the creation of the framework of this book. So, we've enlisted guidelines here so to help you hopefully win that award. With that, I'll pause here and see if I can address any further questions.
How and who will collect all this data to be entered into this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way that it works is we have a data mapping team here at ClearGov. So the way the process works is that we would work with the finance team, and simply there would be a report that would be run out of your current accounting system, and that report would be sent over to our data mapping team, and our data mapping team would take care of all of the mapping and take all of this and map it into our system. So simply the finance team would just have to send us that report.
That would be for financial stuff, but what about like the, you know, the pictures that you're showing on projects that could be going on?
Yeah, so the pictures are generated by our software. So we have artificial intelligence built into our software that generates the pictures with the reports that are being sent to us. So the reports, the pictures and the charts and the graphs, we're doing all of that for you.
I think he meant the background pictures
Background,
and the
yeah.
project pictures,
Oh.
and not the graphics for all the charts and stuff.
Oh, okay. You mean, for example, like the picture in the background here?
Yes, and then the one for the projects.
What
Oh,
I'm getting-
and the project. Oh, okay, got it. Let me go back to the project. Yes, okay. Yeah, so as part of our client success team, so a client success manager would be assigned to the city of West Burlington. So the client success manager would help you build out these project pages. And we have ongoing training as well, but these pages are really easy to build. But I mean, in terms of putting these pictures into the project pages, it would be a simple, you know, you have to have a digital version of the picture, and then it just gets uploaded into the project page itself. It's a very, very simple and easy process.
Well, what I'm getting at is we have a limited amount of staff time to take on more projects, and if this is going to increase the costs of not getting other things done by staff, you know, what's the benefit there?
Okay, I see. Yeah, I mean, you have the ability to provide these pictures. You don't necessarily have to put in pictures. I mean, you can have a description.
I think he's more talking more in general.
I'm using the pictures as an example, but I'm saying,
Oh, okay.
you know, if I've got limited staff in the finance office, and I don't want to put another 10 hours a month onto them.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, our project pages, or in general. So all the financial data, all the budgetary information. So we do all of that for you. With the project, you know, this page itself takes all about 10 minutes to complete. So, you know, it's not a labor intensive process. So we've created this software to make this as simple as possible for you to build out the page. And then when you're making edits to it, it's as simple as just going back to the page and hitting edit and making maybe a minor tweak, and that should take just a few, like a moment, maybe a minute to make an edit. So we've made this as easy as possible. So it shouldn't be labor intensive or time intensive. Hope that's addressing your question.
I know the financial data gets pulled over, so it's not like somebody has to sit and data enter all that. It's pulled through with our financial software.
Something to talk about.
Yes, correct. Yep, that's right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, our client success manager here would be able to assist with building out the project pages as much as possible. But obviously, the text and the narrative that needs to be completed by your team, because we don't have that information. That has to come from you. But again, like these pages, I mean, it takes about 10 minutes to complete a page.
Oh,
Anything else? No. That's all we have, Gabby.
Okay, that's okay. All right. Great. Dan, if there's any other questions, you know, feel free to let me know after your meeting. Again, thank you everyone for your time tonight. Hope that was informative and helpful.
I have one question, Gabby.
Yep.
What about the other side? The
Oh, yeah,
parking
sure.
you talked about the departments going electronically through you for financial proposals? I saw that was in the packet.
Yeah, the department's requests, budget requests. I have a question about how that works. Where the department heads can put in their requests digitally.
The capital request?
Yes.
Yes, that is done digitally, yes. I didn't show the back end of how that process works, but yes, it is done online. It's a web-based tool. It's a capital request module, and it's a very simple process. And it's all done in.
Can you click in that real quick?
Yeah, I can show you. Yeah, absolutely. So the finance department would create a form, and the form would be housed in this capital request module. So then when the form is sent in an email to the department heads, they'll get an email with a link, and then they would go into create new, and this is what the capital request form could look like. Obviously, we're going to mirror this to look like the form that you're currently using, but simply, like fire chief comes in here and wants to submit capital request for brand new fire trucks. So they put in their description, estimated start date, any supplemental attachments, but here is where is the real meat of the request. They can forecast out over 5 years. We make that the default, but additional years can be added or subtracted. And then they go throughout and fill any of the fields that are required for that capital request. This is just an example of one. And then they can hit Save Draft, and then they can create as many of these capital requests as they would like. And then when they're ready to submit, they hit Select All, and they hit Submit. Okay? And then what happens is that the finance department's dashboard would start to get populated here. I jumped around a little bit, so I apologize for that. But this is when those individual forms are being submitted over the web in that module, the capital request module. This is what the finance department's bird's eye view of those capital requests, what it looks like. Finance director can come here and see how many departments have submitted capital requests, nice bird's eye view. And then also there's a graphical breakdown here. This is just a mock-up. So, for example, this is how many capital requests are. This is the amount being requested. They can break this out by department, category, funding source, or even see it, broken down by individual departments as well. And then further as you scroll down, you can drill down into any one of these requests and see exactly what was submitted by that department head. Here is that example of the fire truck. The description, they added some pictures, and then the amount that's being requested and where that funding might be coming from. Does that help?
Yep.
Thanks.
I'm getting a nod, so it must be okay.
Okay, yeah, it's done. It's all done over the web. It's in the module, and it's all updated real time.
Anything else? I think we're good, Gabby. Thanks.
Okay, great, Dan. I'll follow up with you tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Anyone wishing to address the council matters that we did discuss tonight, or didn't discuss yet? Okay, we'll go to a public hearing. We'll open a public hearing on a proposed maximum levy for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. Do we receive any written comments? No. Any public comment?
I did get a request from a citizen that was concerned that we didn't lower our taxes. And I said he was welcome to come to these, and that what the levy rate wouldn't be finalized until the last public hearing in about 3 or 4 weeks, so there's some time.
Any council comments? I think Dan's memo is pretty self-explanatory where, this is not set in stone yet. You still have the option to lower or maintain the levy at the same rate at the final meeting. Let me close the public hearing. Go to new business. Item number 1 is consider a resolution approving the maximum property tax dollars be levied in fiscal year 2020, 2021, which is $10 per thousand.
Motion approved.
Support.
The motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Whitmire,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 2 is consider renewal of VMware maintenance and license agreement for virtualizing server environment in the amount of $3,481.
Motion to approve?
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Whitmire,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3 is consider entering an engineering service agreement with French Renter Associates for the Houston Street improvements in the amount of $23,400.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Matt's here. He can answer questions if you have any. Roll call.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Whitmire,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Motion carried. Now, are we also gonna talk about adding a couple of short sections to,
We
Do
won't
that
add them to,
project.
we can't add them to that project because that's a TIF project. So those other 2 projects we'll have to fund some other way, but we did get a quote for that section of street, that half a block that the citizens came and talked to us about. What was that, 60? So, yeah, yeah, I was thinking it was closer to 60, but, and then the other street creep project's 23, I think. Probably I mean, if we wanted to do that, there's probably money in local option to do those. We can't use TIF because it's residential.
well, let's talk about it during the budget thing here
Okay.
afterwards. So item number 4 then is to consider resolution providing funding for the annual 4th of July celebration from the city's hotel motel fund in the amount of $10,000.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Christie,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Whitmire,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 5 is to consider resolution relating to the financing of a proposed project to be undertaken by the city of West Burlington, Iowa, establishing compliance with reimbursement bond regulations under the Internal Revenue Code for water in the amount of $4.5 million.
And that just lets us get reimbursed for money we spend ahead of actually getting the grant money.
So move.
Support.
Motion with support. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Whitmire,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 6 is consider entering into an agreement with Southeast Iowa Regional Planning to administer a state revolving loan for the water tower project. It's not to exceed $30,000.
Motion to approve.
Support.
It's a motion with support. Any discussion?
I guess I'm new to this, but is this something that our accounting department cannot handle?
Randy, they deal with grant stuff all the time, and it's a service that they provide through the Southeast Iowa Regional that takes pressure off Leslie and stuff to have to dealing with all the paperwork and grant stuff.
This is
It's,
something
federal
to take-
projects are like really complicated.
There's a lot of tedious
And-
requirements to meet.
And I'm not sure we all are up to speed on all the federal requirements because they change all the time, which them with regional planning doing those year in and year out, they're way better off, and the consequences for making a mistake are pretty large for federal projects. Also with this one, Leslie and I have been talking, I think if we limit the number of times we ask for reimbursement, it'll keep that cost down some, because it's so much, it's $60 an hour with that 30,000 as a cap. That's not a quote, so it's actual time. If we can limit their time, we can keep that price down some.
Any idea where you think we'll end up on that?
It's hard to say. I don't know what it would take. She's actually, if we approve this, she'll come in and do the federal public hearing that we have to do for environmental. And there's questions on there that have to be asked in that meeting, and so we could ask her during that meeting. She might have a better idea on what it takes her to do.
Did we have to go through all this stuff with the wastewater treatment plant?
We did.
And did we hire Southeast, our original planning to do that as well?
Yes, we did.
You remember what that bill was on that?
The cap was exactly the same, but, I mean, that project's been going on for almost 2 years, so that's gonna be a lot more than what the water tower will be. It must be the cap they put on for, no matter what size the project is, and
They deal with grants and SRF loans all the time. So
Maybe they can cut us a deal, giving them all our business.
they actually, for every dollar that the communities invest in regional planning, you get about $9 back in grants and loans and stuff. So, we did vote already, didn't we?
No.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call.
That's not already. Okay. Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Christie.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 7 is consider payments to Snyder Associates for engineering service related to the following projects. Facility plan and south lift station replacement project, $6,240. Water tower and booster station project, $8,365. Des Moines County landfill lift station project, $4,550. Gear Avenue Trail project, $4,551.17. Agency Street Crossing Project, $4,225, and the Lewis Park Sponsored Project, $5,898.68. Is there any of them that you want to pull out to discuss, or do you want to just have one motion made to approve payment for all of them?
I just had one question on the Agency Street crossing. The college has agreed to pay half. Are they paying half of the $42.25, or is $42.25 our half?
that's an engineering bill, so they will pay half of that. I got the actual estimate in today for the engineer's estimate, and I sent it off to the college to make sure they were okay with paying half of that to approve, and I'll bring that to you at some point, probably next meeting, on what that cost is gonna be for that crossing, but.
Motion to approve items A through F.
Or,
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Lees.
aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Christie.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Carried. By having old business.
You got item 8.
Hmm?
You got item 8 in.
Oh, 8, I'm sorry. Item number 8. Consider selling book tools on gov deals that no longer used in the Public Works Department.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Waterman.
Aye.
Christie.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Hightmeyer.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now, does anybody have any old business? Any citizen wanting to address the council? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.